Hello everybody, I am FuzzyFace and welcome back to another edition of this Motorsport Manager career that we've got going on at the moment. We are back with our very own team, the FuzzyFace Racing team. We've skipped all the way ahead to the Doha Grand Prix, Doha, the capital of Qatar, so it's going to be another hot race once again. We're doing quite well. Joseph Newgarden is in first in the drivers' standings. In the constructors' standings, meanwhile, we are top of the table. Arden getting a little bit closer to us. We didn't have the best race last time. We had a really poor qualifying, but we managed to recover slightly during the race. Jerry, I think it was the last race that he actually crashed out. Yes, he did. He finished all the way in 19th. Max Chilton, though, managed to crash out before him. But Joseph is winning the Constructors. Canaan a little bit further behind him, 16 points. It looks like Newgarden, if we have a couple of good races, he could pick up the title, which would be good going into next season because it would give him a marketability boost. If we do get into F2, we would be making a little bit more money, hopefully. Meanwhile, we've got a couple of sponsorships due here. We've got Singer, Epson or Ray-Ban. Ray-Ban offering 3.2 up front. We don't want to go into a massive deal because next season, this one's a little bit too long, even though it's a little bit more money than this one. We're going to accept the Epson one just because it's the lowest one that we can go for, and hopefully we can get a better one next season. I was thinking, I don't know whether Fuzzy's Vodka are actually a sponsor in this game, but it would be cool if we could get them in the car, because this livery that we've got for FuzzyFace Racing, it was sort of based around the Ed Carpenter racing team in IndyCar, the gold and white. We don't have the green. I was thinking about putting green on it, but I didn't quite like the look of it. We went with black in the end. The livery was sort of based around the Ed Carpenter racing team. Obviously, the Ed Carpenter racing team in IndyCar, sponsored by Fuzzy's Vodka. Duly in part to them being sponsored by, not sponsored, but partly owned by Frank Urbanzola, more commonly known as Fuzzy Zola, the former golfer, a man after my own heart with a similar nickname in Fuzzy. But yeah, that's what this was based around. It also looks like the Team Penske livery that they've run a couple of times this season at Indy 500 and more recently at Gateway. But yeah, it would be cool if Fuzzy's Vodka are actually a sponsor in this game. We do have a lot of racing sponsors. I don't know if it includes a lot of the IndyCar sponsors. Maybe I'll have to ask that question. But anyway, we skipped ahead to the beginning of the race weekend just because there's not a lot going on at the moment, because there's no new parts that we can build. We've got to the main level that we can get to with the brakes builds at the moment, so there's nothing doing there. We're fully reliable. We've got the brakes all the way up to the top that we can do, so there's nothing going on there. There's no votes coming up just after this race. I think there will be a vote, another one, unlimited pit stop crews. The votes don't really mean much to us because we're aiming for promotion. Hopefully we can get that this season. So we're going to jump straight into the race. We're going to accept the offer from Philip Morris. Both drivers are just about content with the car, so we're going to run practice and qualifying off camera as we usually do, and we'll be back for this race in Qatar in just a second. Qualifying over once again. We're a long way down the grid. Joseph Newgarden in 18th, Jerry Vips in 20th. Something has happened recently with the car. I'm not quite sure what. We weight stripped for qualifying down to as far as I think we can take it. We might even have to take it down to this in future. In the next couple of races, 75%. It seems a little bit low because we're getting there pretty much with the engine. I don't think we're going to do that for the race. We seem to be quite good during the race. Maybe we'll have to concentrate fully on getting the 10% for the qualifying trim. Maybe. We'll just fill that and we'll see what we're going to do strategy wise for this race. 17 laps. We can do it pretty much on the soft tyres, although we can't really do that in the car for Jerry Vips. He's going to be a little bit off that, isn't he? 7 and 9. He's just under that, so we're going to have to start with the mediums for Vips. We might start with the mediums as well for Newgarden, see how far we can get him, and then get him for the softer tyre. Or maybe if we go with the it's going to be a little bit close. Soft to soft, medium to soft. No, we'll try do both stints on the soft tyre with Newgarden, but we've just really fallen off here in recent races during qualifying, so hopefully we're going to select soft as well. We're going to go for medium just in case Vips cannot get onto the medium, onto the soft tyre during this race. As we can see, we've got the yellow KSC branded Arden car in front with Ed Jones High-Tech. Arden in third as well, which is not good for us. Arden, our main competitors, first and third, so it's looking highly unlikely that we're going to escape F3 this season if this form continues on. For some reason, we've just fallen way off the pace recently during qualifying. We've not been able to keep it up. But anyway, Joseph Newgarden makes an excellent start here. Can't let these tyres get too hot. Look at that, 40 degrees again. It's just like in the last race in Dubai. But Newgarden, look at that, all the way up into 4th place. An amazing start for him, up into 3rd already. So we're going to go back. You know, we can keep the fuel like that as it is. Vipso still struggling at the back. We're going to look after these medium tyres just so we can get him onto the softs for the end of the race. I don't think he's got much chance, although we might as well keep pushing this tyre. We might as well keep him in. We might as well keep it going for a little bit longer. But Newgarden, an absolutely storming first lap there, has managed to get in front of the Arden of Canaan, who's falling off, but I don't think that's enough. Look at that, 4 points. Arden would be above us if this race finished like this. Going back to what I was saying about the sponsors before the race with Fuzzy's Vodka, I was thinking about it. Joseph Newgarden did actually race for the Ed Carpenter Racing Team in 2016. So this is his 2nd season that he spent with a team branded with Fuzzy. Obviously branded FuzzyFace this time, not Ed Carpenter, Fuzzy's Vodka, like in IndyCar in 2016. But anyway, let's get back to this race. We're going to switch back to medium at some point. We're a little bit behind Joel Eriksson in the black motor park in front of us. I think we're still lapping quicker than him. For some reason, we just don't have the qualifying pace there. I'm not sure the reason why. We're just way off in qualifying. Going to have to start thinking about... But we do come out last. I don't think there's any way to do it. But look, this is just how much quicker we are than the rest of the field. We're just a long way quicker. But we're going to have to sit back and cool this tyre down a little bit. We're going to have to do the same with Vips. It's gone up into the point where they're probably all blistering now. We're going to drop behind this front 3. Well, the front 2 of Ed Jones and Joel Eriksson. Just going to have to try and get these tyres cool a little bit. Try and get to the point where we can get back onto the soft tyre, which we should be able to do. If we can just cool this tyre down a little bit and switch back to neutral, that is good enough for me. I think we could get in at some point. Where would we actually be if we pitted and tried to get the undercut? We'd actually come back out in 5th place. We wouldn't actually lose too much time. So I think that is the only way we're going to try and catch Eriksson and Jones, is by trying to get the undercut at some point. We know we can get onto the... To get the undercut, we would have to go for the medium tyre. But it doesn't look like Eriksson's really wearing through his soft tyre, so he's possibly going to get into the pits before us, before we get a chance to do that. So we're just going to carry on. These tyres blistering though already up into the thing. So we might go for mediums a lap after this, just so we can push on them a little bit longer. These softs are pretty much touch and go to whether we can actually get them to the end of the race. We've cooled these tyres down as well to a point where we should be able to get Vips around and get him back onto a soft tyre. Maybe we can get him up into the points, but he's got a couple of good cars to get past. He's got the Mardenborough in the Toda, Sato in a motor park, and then Canaan obviously in the Arden, who has thankfully dropped down to the back of the order. Newgarden, meanwhile... No, it's a little bit close. We're going to get him onto the mediums at the end of this lap. His tyre's pretty much going. He's up into 2nd, so that means that we saw... Who was it that came into the pits? It's Eriksson, who's been into the pits, and he's out as well. So he's going to get this undercut working. We might as well just blow through these tyres, get back into high mode for a little bit. Vips, meanwhile, can just continue on this medium tyre for a little bit longer. So we're just going to see where Newgarden can get out. Jones is going a little bit longer. He started on the medium tyre. He's going to finish on the quicker tyre. But hopefully we can try and make a little bit of an undercut work on him. We're going to be able to push out of the pits. Obviously, the pit lane is a little bit cut off here. We're out behind Eriksson. In front of Buemi, though, which is good. We've still got Nico Prost in the art line in 2nd, but he's yet to pit at the moment. We're just going to have to watch the temperature of these tyres. We can't let them get too hot. We can push for a little bit, but not too much. And we're going to have to switch back to medium as well. Ed Jones has stayed out, so we're back into 3rd. We're still trailing Eriksson in the motor park. We're going to get Vips in this lap. He can do 7 laps. It's going to be pretty much touch and go, but he is up into 10th at the moment. He's not going to be like that when we get out of the pits. 18th is his projected, but obviously we know the pit lane here is a little bit different. Should we go fast? Should we risk a fast one to get him up into the points? Or risk a fast one? And he's in and out fast. Is he back out into 12th? And we've still got cars to pit. So it looks like we've got Vips back up into the points here, but we do have to look after these soft tyres now if we want them to reach the end of the race. Newgarden, meanwhile, in third. He's lapping a little bit slower than Ericsson. It looks like at the moment that's his outlap, so we can't quite tell at the moment. A 1:48 is about a second quicker than us. Is Ericsson at the moment. We're just looking after these tyres a little bit. We don't want them to stay in the red range. We're going to... Well, actually, we'll go down into backup and then we can push again. If we go like that and then we can just attack for a little bit, because got a feeling Ed Jones is coming into the pits this time. He's run a long time on these mediums. He's not going to get back out in front of us, is he? Oh, we're just behind him. We're just behind him. Look at that. Ed Jones has moved down into second place, which is good for us because that does mean we are going to keep the lead in the championship. So it does give us another race to recover. Going to go back into conserve mode with Jory Vips. Kanan is behind him though, which is the good thing. We can go high mode for a little bit whilst we go into conserve mode. These tyres do get really hot around this track. We've got cars in front. Going to pit. Who's in front? Kubica going to pit again? Has he got problems with his car? It looks like it. So Vips in 9th. Newgarden doing amazingly in 3rd. He's got Ed Jones in front of him. I don't think we're actually quick enough to catch him. Although we've got a lot of tyre wear left here, we might as well push for a little bit. We've still got some fuel to try and recover though. Vips, meanwhile, is up into 8th. Gives us a 5-point lead in the championship as we've managed to get in front of Kanan. Newgarden, meanwhile, can we get... We can't. No, we can't. No, we can't. I thought we were going to get Ed Jones then. These tyres getting really too hot. We're going to go into backup mode for a little bit. We're going to try and cool them down for a little bit. That is going to put us behind a little bit. Get through this lap and then maybe 2 laps. Or do 1 lap on all-out attack. Just have one last push at Ed Jones here. These tyres of Vips are really hot. I don't think it's going to matter too much though. I think we've got enough tyre wear left that we can actually push. Just try and keep him ahead of Tony Kanaan. We've moved up to 7th, maybe through a pit stop. We've got problems with the car. Although they're going to last to the end of the race. Newgarden though, doesn't look like he's going to get past Ed Jones. I think we're going to have to go back into conserve mode now, otherwise these tyres aren't going to get through to the end of the race. We don't want Nico Prost catching us. Meanwhile with Vips, we don't want these tyres to go and for Kanan to get past us. We don't want to give them any sort of advantage. A couple of parts looking dodgy on the car of Newgarden. Newgarden now, where is he? Still behind this trio of 3 cars, all within a second of each other. Are we going to be able to get Ed Jones before the end of this race? We're coming on to the final lap. The mediums can go down to 10%. Let's push this car all out. Vips, meanwhile, about half a second ahead of Tony Kanaan. His tyres are about to go. We're going to go back to medium. I think we've got Kanaan. His tyres are a lot fresher, but hopefully we can hold him off. Newgarden, meanwhile, he's going to make the move on Ed Jones with half a lap to go. Can he make it stick? Let's get back now to back up a door. Well, let's keep attacking. Let's just keep attacking here. We might... I don't think we're going to make the move on Ericsson. But Jones has fallen behind. It looks like Newgarden's going to come across the line in second place. He does. A wonderful race from Joseph Newgarden to get from 18th to second place. Vips, meanwhile, the tyres have gone. We can go in overtake mode for this last little straight. Keep him ahead. Vips finishes 7th ahead of the car of Arden. So somehow Arden starting 1st and 3rd on the grid. A long way in front of us. We managed to get 1 car in front of each, which is the most important thing, which means we are going to have extended our lead in the championship. Somehow, somewhere, we managed to make it stick. I don't know how we managed to do that after the really poor qualifying result, but we managed to do it. I don't think we can do much more with the weight stripping in the next race, because as we saw, we were getting close there with having the car start at 80%. Kanan sets the quickest lap of the race, so he negates the place that Vips had on him. Newgarden, meanwhile, picks up 3 points on Ed Jones. So, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Newgarden stays out in front. He extends his lead to 28 points. Jerry Vips moves down 1 place. Mikhail Aleshin won that race in the High-Tech Grand Prix. No, he didn't. So how has he moved ahead? No, he finished higher up the order. What am I saying? And we extend our lead now to 11 points with 3 races to go. So it's going to be touch and go until the end of the season. We've got 1 more race coming up this episode, and then we'll be finishing off with the final 2 races in the next episode. So Vips, amazing to get into 7th place. Joseph Newgarden, miracle getting up to 2nd place. That's the 2nd race in a row where he's qualified down the order and managed to get to the top of the order. Absolutely amazing. So 1.1 million coming out of the bank. We didn't pick up the bonus money for qualifying with another really poor qualifying session, but thankfully we managed to recover that in the race. So we do have Tondela coming up. We'll just go through, see what the interview is like. Jerry Vips claimed that the operator seems to be holding the team back. We just have to go this one because, as we've gone through before, marketability, one upsets the chairman. We're going to upset the driver. We'll pick that back up easily, hopefully with him. We do have a vote coming up in a week, so we might as well stay with this game until we get to that point. Car repair complete. We've got another interview request. Joseph Newgarden has had a house fire, so he's lost one in each category. So that's not going to bode well for his next race. So we've got an interview. We'd like to take some of Joseph Newgarden's time for an interview. Is that okay? No, I'm not bothered about the money, so it's a distraction, so we'll do that. We've got new sponsorship offers as well. 12.5 million up front, £645,000, and 1.8 million. So what are we at? 3 stars. We don't want to sign a 16 race deal because this is one of the sponsorship slots where you can get 4 stars. And if Newgarden wins the championship, we will be a 4-star sponsor appeal level team next season. So whilst this CNBC offer is good, we're going to go with Sparko on the car. We're going to be foregoing a little bit of money this season, but 6 races is good enough, and next season we're going to get a nice big sponsor in here, hopefully next time out. We've got 8 races here as well, so this one should be coming a 4-star sponsor level next season, hopefully. Meanwhile, we've got Tag Heuer bonus for 6 or above. Obviously we already have Philip Morris offering money bonus, so we're going to go with Roach on the side of the car. Goes on the side there. Sparko goes on the back of the air intake. So let's just see if we can get to the next vote. What have we got now? Car repair finished. So we're just going to move on. We've got the test track build coming up, so we're going to finish the test track build, so we should see some improvements to the driver as well, because the test track does offer cornering improvements and overtaking improvements, so that should help out our drivers going forward. Whether we see any big changes in that or not, we do not know. Meanwhile, we've got the Spa Grand Prix coming up, won by Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll in the Williams 2nd, Hamilton 4th. Where was Scott Dixon? Must have crashed in that race. Scott Dixon has dropped off. Sebastian Vettel starting to run away with the Formula 1 Championship in the Ferrari. Kimi 4th. We've got Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull. All the way down at the bottom, we've got the 2 Rapaxes nearly at the bottom. Meanwhile, the title is being won by Ferrari at the moment. Mercedes in 2nd, Red Bull 3rd, Force India 4th, and Toro Rosso in 5th place. So let's just get past that. Let's see if we can get to this politics vote that's coming up on Limited Pit Crew. Not really a big vote in the grand scheme of things. We're just going to abstain, skip it to the end and conclude. It's been voted for, so pit stops will be quicker next season in F3. Whether we're here or not is yet to be seen. Hopefully we can pick up something in Tondela after some really bad qualifying sessions recently. Look at that, 15th and 20th in Dubai, 18th and 20th in Doha. Hopefully we can go ahead and improve on that in Tondela. So we're going to skip ahead these 22 days and we'll get to the race weekend. So we're at the race weekend here. We've seen that the test track, it's put us up to 4th HQ wise in Formula 3. We're going to go with Philip Morris as we usually do. Hopefully we can qualify a lot better here. Look at that, Doha 18th, Dubai 15th, but we've managed to finish in 2nd in the last race and 5th in the race before that. From 15, Joseph Newgarden put in some excellent performances to keep us above Arden International. Can we get back to form in qualifying? We'll see in a second. Practice qualifying off camera as usual. We'll be back in a moment, a couple of seconds due to the magic of editing, for the race in Portugal. Qualifying over for Tondela. We can see the 2 Ardens in 1st and 3rd again, although reversed around Canaan this time in 1st, Ed Jones in 3rd. Meanwhile, we're down the order again. 13th this time from Joseph Newgarden, and a little bit better than last time out. Jerry Vips once again in 20th place. I did try stripping this time down to 75%, which is what we have done. It hasn't really improved much. A little bit for Joseph Newgarden. We have gone down to 75%. I don't know whether if the computer is just stripping a lot more now as we're getting into the business end of the season, whether they're up to 100%, and with them stripping down, whether they're trying to go down to 70 or 65 maybe, whether they're going all the way down to that. But anyway, we're going to go for, we'll go with super softs to start with. We'll just have a look at what we're going to be doing. We used a few more tyres up in qualifying just to try and get something going. So we've got 19 laps here. It's going to be a 2-stop race. So should we start out on the soft tyre, or should we start out on the super soft just to get Newgarden ahead of the field? We've seen that he does have the first lap hero start. Last time it worked out really well for him. So if he's on the super softs nice and early, it's going to get him up the order into sort of the position that he wants to be in. Meanwhile, with Vips, he can do 6, 8, 16. Yeah, so we're going to start him off on the soft tyre. And then, should we put him on the super soft and then get him in really early? He can do 16 on these. If we get him in after about lap 5, then he should have a little bit of open space to run in maybe. We'll just see with Vips. We'll try that with Vips. So we're going to be pushing from the outset. We'll just go for the high fuel mode like we did last time out. Let's get in to start this race. Hopefully, Newgarden is going to have the sort of start that we've become accustomed to with him. And hopefully Vips is going to work his magic later in the race, as we've often seen him do. But here we go. Newgarden has dropped a place early on here. He's dropping a few places, but we should see him start to make a few moves as this starts to get round. It's a short first lap here in Tondela. There's not a lot of time for him to get a lot done, because his stat boost does go once he gets across the finish line. So he's across the finish line now. We don't really need to look after these tyres either, so we might as well go back to high mode. We're just gonna blast through this set of tyres with Jerry Vips just to get him to where he can. Although we might go high mode. We want to get him to about lap 5. We might be able to turn him up. But Newgarden has made an excellent start, whereas Kanan, and where is Ed Jones? Ed Jones is all the way down here, 15th. Has he got a problem with his car? He's just falling down the order. I don't know what's up with his car here, whether that's to do with him weight stripping or whatever, I don't know. But Newgarden up into 5th. That does mean we do retain the top of the table here. We are in front. No, we're just behind Kanan. Kanan's still just in front of us. Right, these tyres getting a little too hot as well now. We're going to go switch back to medium. We'll leave Vips out a little bit longer. He's 14th, 13th, 12th. He's moving up the order. Is he going to make it stick? We're going to get him into attack mode. We're going to let him attack all out on this super soft now. Hopefully he can work his way up into the points. He's got the Arden car, the KSC bright yellow car of Ed Jones in front of him. These under investigation for causing a collision. And we've just gone past the pits as well. So he's possibly going to get a drive through. So that is pretty much Vips out of the way here. I don't think he's going to be able to do much. We might as well go fast on it. Newgarden, meanwhile, we've had him try to cool these tyres down. It's really hot again here. He's in 5th place at the moment. We're currently 6 points ahead still in the championship, so we've still got some time during this race. So should we get Newgarden, where would he be at if we pitted him in the next couple of laps? He'd be 15th, so he would be in traffic. So we want to keep him out as long as we can on this super soft, just so we're not hitting so much traffic. Bad as well on repairing this rear wing. It's stuck. Is he in and out? Is it been? Yeah, he's been in and out of the pits. We're going to go medium mode from it. We might have to run low mode as well with Vips, but he's a long way behind. He's possibly going to have a drive-through penalty at some point as well, but he's way off the pace here. Newgarden, meanwhile, in 6th place. Right, so we can get him attacking for this lap, and he's going to get in for the softs. He's going to come out in 12th. Should we risk a fast one? No, there's not a lot to be gained for the risk, because we do need to stay somewhere around this level. We're going to sort of make an undercut work, sort of, maybe. It just depends where we can get back out of the pits, and a bad pit stop as well. Back out into 14th, so we need to push on this tyre for a little bit, because we do have a lot of tyre left. We can do 15 laps, so we can push for a little bit to get in front of these two cars, and then we can just sort of recover this, just sort of pull off on this tyre as we start to catch the leaders now, as we get the undercut working. Should we push for this lap and then try and go on backup mode once we see the other cars coming, because we do have a lot of clear air to work with. We are 21 seconds behind Kanan, which is working, although we're catching the leader. There's the Ardent of Ed Jones in front, which is what we don't want to see. Both of those cars in the points. The tyres running hot for Vips at the moment, so we're going to cool those down. Yeah, we know the tyre degradation is really bad. He's up into 5th place now, in front of Kanan, which is the important thing. So we're going to go back into backup mode now, try and cool these tyres down for a little bit. 2-second Kanan behind us by 3.5, dropping behind 3.6. So that is good. So that should give us more of an extension. 15 points, which is what we need. 13 points though at the moment. As we see Jones drop out. Where is Ed Jones? 12th, so he's out of the points. Vips, meanwhile, doing pretty well here. We might get the undercut working with him at some point. Get him into the pits again. So we might as well just blast him through this tyre. We've got to make something work, something stick with him. Newgarden as well. We could possibly do that as well with him. Try and move him up the order. Instead of looking after these tyres, we know he's going to come in for another pair of soft tyres, which can do at least 8 laps. So we might as well get it working and get onto the quicker tyre as quick as we can whilst we've got a lot of clear air to work with. Because we can do at least another 2 laps on this tyre. I don't think these cars are going to go to the end. Could be touch and go whether they can do or not. We can go into high mode as well, although we do have to look after a few parts here. Vips, meanwhile, he's just gone around. We're going to get him in after this lap. He's going to come in for his soft tyre. Possibly a lap too long, but we're going to risk a fast one with him again. Any seconds that we can gain with him is a bonus. And Newgarden is going to come in after this lap, or this lap. Where are we at? We're just in front, so we're going to try and make it stick. We might be able to get Prost if he does have to come into the pits again, but it's looking like he might not have to. They've stretched their tyres out, so going for this route, we're not going to risk a fast one with Newgarden. We don't have to. We're in the points no matter what, but where are we going to be in the points? That is the question. Can we get out away from traffic? We're in a little bit of traffic, so let's go into push, just try and get past these couple of cars. And we're in a little bit of clear air now, so we'll turn down the tyres. Although we're a lot quicker than these cars, 24 seconds behind. It's whether these cars have to pit again or not. It's going to be hard. Although we're seeing some come into the pits. Are we going to see the others come into the pits? Some cars have gone a long way into this Grand Prix. Vips, meanwhile, is 16th. Ed Jones has managed to climb back into the points. As it is at the moment, we're still leading the championship. 5 laps to go for Kanan. It's a little bit touch and go for those soft tyres, but it looks like he's going to try it. But we should be able to pick up these couple of places if we just keep going like this. We might be able to get back up 10. Yeah, we're seeing cars get into the pits now. So we're there. Kanan has not pitted. He's in first place. Are the Arden cars going to try and push this to the end of the race? Rossi is back out in front of us, but if Mardenborough... What is Mardenborough in? The Toda car. He's into the pits, so we are hopefully going to see Kanan come into the pits at some point. We're up onto the podium once again, back into high mode. And Vips, meanwhile, has a lot of tyre left here, so we're going to get him pushing. The tyres are a little bit too hot. We don't want to run them too hot at this point. So what is Kanan doing? 7 seconds behind. We are gaining on him. We can't really risk going too all out at the moment. We don't want this tyre to drop away and then us move down the order, because we're currently second. That is because Ed Jones has moved up into 7th place. It looks like Kanan's not even going to try pit. Kanan is going to try stop this race. He's pretty much all the way off these tyres though, and we can go into attack mode now. We've got 1 lap to go. It doesn't look like we're going to catch him though. If he does slow down though, no he's not. It doesn't look like we're going to get to 2nd place either. Oh, we do get 2nd place. Come across the line, 2nd place. Vips though, outside the points. We try to push him. He's 8.8. Doesn't look like he's going to catch up either. Can he do it? Can he do it? No, we'd already gone past the finish line. So Vips just outside the points. Ed Jones moved down a place. We gained a place. So we still might be top of the Constructors' Championship, although it's going to be close now going into these final 2 races. But it is going to be hard with our qualifying pace at the moment. Qualifying pace just totally off at the moment. So let's just have a look. Alexander Rossi sets the quickest lap of the race. Vips got up into 10th. We've had a demotion for Joel Eriksson in the motor part, so that 1 point could go a long way here. Joseph Newgarden 118, so Newgarden still winning the Drivers' Championship. Vips in 7th place. He retains 7th. So where to look at that? That 1 point scored by Jerry Vips from being moved up from Motor Park, being demoted, keeps us top of the table, obviously. Arden doing a lot better than us in recent races, qualifying. We managed to beat them in Doha, not here in Portugal. We somehow got to figure out a way to beat them. But I don't think... It does mean that we're going to have to try in the next race. Maybe going for something like, I don't know. Newgarden was a little bit off in this one due to his stat, to one of the boost affecting his performance. But we might have to try going a little bit further with the weight stripping in the next race, because we're somehow totally off the pace in qualifying for some reason. But 1.2 coming out, that is because we're off the pace in qualifying. We're not picking up the bonus for qualifying. So where are we at? The car says it's 9th at the moment for some reason, even though we've got the brakes at 9th place. So there's nothing else we can do with the brakes other than building these risky parts, and as per my own rules, we can't build risky parts for the car. Plus we might get found out and get demoted anyway, which is not worth the risk at this point in the season. So you attempted a quick pit stop for Vips in the last race, but it resulted in a mistake. Your very own chairman criticised the move, saying that motorsport isn't the place for gambling. We had to go for it. It takes 5% off both drivers. Sometimes I wish I'd reject it, but it's part of the game, having these interviews and taking whatever comes. But anyway, next time out we've got the Spa Grand Prix in Ardennes, and then we're going to be finishing off at Munich. So hopefully we can keep this going. Hopefully we can keep it going. Meanwhile, a quick look at Formula 1. Ferrari 24 points ahead at Mercedes. Red Bull a long way off the pace. We're going to be seeing Rapax down in F2 next season. Renault 7th like they were last season. Williams and Toro Rosso seem like they've swapped about. Vettel winning the Drivers' Championship. Scott Dixon, meanwhile, still in 2nd place, having won 3 races this season. Lewis Hamilton 2. So a lot of spreading out of the race wins between Kimi, Daniel, Scott Dixon, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis. Meanwhile, in F2, we're seeing Boschon in the campus winning. Mick Schumacher doing really well in the Prema, in Prema's first season in F2 in this game. Obviously, they were in F3 with us last season. Luca Ghiotto, who had been leading F2 until recently, down in 3rd place. And James Hinchcliffe here, another one that has swapped over from IndyCar. James Hinchcliffe, formerly of the Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports team. Pascal Wehrlein not doing too well in the Sauber, although both Saubers are getting up the order now. It looks like Jenson Button's recovered and Sauber currently winning, so they look like they could be heading back to F1 next season. But anyway, we've got the Season 2 finale coming up next time out, where we see if we can keep our lead in the F3 Championship and gain promotion to F2. This was the season that I was planning to go up. It's proving a little bit harder than I thought it would be due to qualifying pace being off by a hell of a lot. But until next time, subscribe, hit that like button, comment, all the usual razzmatazz. But until then, until the season finale to see if we can win the championship, I will see you down the road in Spa, or as it says in this game, Ardennes, for the next Grand Prix, and goodbye.